Greetings, my name is Michael Short. I'm principal at Perrysburg High School. We've got the College Credit Plus program video for you, an explanation of the program, some of the benefits, some of the things that you can do with the program, and also some of the risks that are going to be involved in taking the College Credit Plus program, as well as the process for applying for and enrolling in the program. What College Credit Plus allows students to do in grades 7 through 12 is to take non-religious, non-remedial college classes and earn both high school and college credit. So it's a great benefit for a lot of reasons, but there's also some risks associated with it. Now, to be clear, this is going to be separate from advanced placement classes. Those courses, you require a test. They're given here on campus, the classes are, and based on the score on the test, awards the credit. College Credit Plus, if you pass the class, you'll get the credit for the college course. That sounds great, but there are some pitfalls. As we go through this, you need to understand that there are two types of College Credit Plus classes. There are some that are offered here at PHS, in our foreign languages, history, physics, teaching professions, marketing. We'll talk more about that. And then there are college classes that you can take through the College Credit Plus that are offered on college campuses or online directly through the university. Our instructors are not involved at all. So you need to go through and decide what's going to be the best course for you and your student. A counseling session is required regardless of what type of College Credit Plus course you take, whether it's here on our campus or on another campus or online. This particular session, our video or our live session, satisfies the requirement of that counseling session that's required by the Ohio Revised Code for us to offer. So we have some benefits. One of the obvious ones is you're open to curriculum options that are available on different campuses. Obviously, the most populated courses for us are going to be through BGSU, University of Toledo, Owens, but you can't, it's not limited to that. You can take courses from any college, public college across the state. So you just have to apply to those schools. We'll talk more about that. You can, as a benefit, experience college level work and college life if you choose to go on campus prior to making a decision about your college choice. You can earn college credit at no cost to you. This is paid for through your tax dollars, and so there is no cost to this program. However, again, there are some pitfalls. And obviously, because there's no cost to you for that tuition, it will help reduce college costs and time spent in college after high school graduation. We have had several students who have entered their college programs directly from the high school as second semester sophomores. That's not an unusual situation for us and for students who go full-time CCP. There are a lot of risks, and this I need to be very clear about. Students begin their collegiate record. There's no wiping that out. High school transcripts, yes, it stays with you forever. College transcripts, they transfer everywhere, and that's going to be something that will follow folks. So you need to be aware of that and make sure that the students are really ready for that college experience. There's an increased responsibility for learning. Students are the sole communicators with the college. Parents, you're out of the loop. You will not be allowed to talk with the instructors. You will not be allowed to get records. The FERPA is in play, and students are in charge of their communication. So you have to make sure that you're able to communicate effectively with your student regarding what they're doing in the college classes. You have to balance your schedule between high school and college. For those students who are not going CCP full-time, you're going to be balancing your high school schedule. You need to budget time. If you have a class that ends here at 11:30, but one that starts at BGSU at noon, you're probably not going to make it. You need to figure out what that schedule might look like and make sure that you're going to be responsible for that time commitment. One of the biggest things is you need to be both academically and socially self-disciplined. You need to make sure you're the one who can take care of business, because the instructors are really not going to help you like they do here at the high school. And parents, you're going to be out of that communication loop. You'll have a syllabus to work with, to be sure, but at the end of the day, it's up to the student to get the work done, get it in, and communicate with instructors. This is really critical for younger students who might be considering College Credit Plus. You have to think that you're going onto a college campus as a possibility. You're going to be with students who are age 17 to 25 plus in those classes. There's a big social gap there, so you need to be ready for some of that. Some of the other risks, the increased time for travel and study. As I mentioned, if your class ends here at one time, you need to be able to make sure you get down to the university in time for your class. The conflicts in the school year always tend to rub some people the wrong way. BGSU this year has their spring break 1 week ahead of ours. You don't get both. So you have to go to college classes. If you're splitting time with the high school, you're not going to get a spring break because we're in session during the week that they're off. So you need to be aware of that, what the calendar looks like. If you're starting in the fall and you're going full-time or even part-time CCP, we start earlier than the universities. So you need to be aware of what that calendar looks like and where you fall within that. So students are applying to college. You're responsible for the communication with the college regarding all aspects. So once you submit your application, students, you're in charge of that communication piece. Again, parents, you're kind of left out of that, but that's part of what college is supposed to do for you. Again, students are expected to take care of all of the responsibilities associated with the college, and that means returning all textbooks, other equipment provided at each academic term. Full-time CCP students, this is vitally important. Please listen to this. You have a laptop issued from the schools, from Perrysburg schools. If you go full-time CCP, you need to turn in that laptop. You don't get to keep it. A couple of reasons for that. Big reason is we monitor that laptop, and it's there to help be a tool for our classroom instruction. Now, universities often will use online formats, Canvas, whatever, to communicate with their students, but at the end of the day, that laptop is filtered with our filters in place, and therefore become really pretty ineffective other than as a word processing machine. So even if you're paying your fees for the laptop, you're not going to be able to keep it. In fact, we won't take your money for the fee for that year. If you're full-time CCP, laptop has to come back in. Just need to be aware of that ahead of time. So one of the other academic responsibilities is you have to perform. If you're getting into this environment, you have to know what you're getting into. So there's a program that's involved a probationary period. If you're not doing well, you could be dismissed from the program, limited in the number of classes you take. There's an appeal process to the whole thing, but you need to be aware if you're not doing well academically in the CCP classes, you could be dropped from the program. So just have that heads up. You're also in charge, again, of that scheduling piece, which means you have to have a certain level of a number of courses if you're participating in athletics. This is an OHSAA requirement. So you have to have a minimum of 5 classes per semester. And we have to make sure that the courses that you're taking at the university fulfill that requirement. Some classes that may only be 1 credit or 2 credits won't get to where we need to have you in terms of the OHSAA requirements. You really need to be careful of that. Talk with your counselor through that process if you're involved in athletics. The other part of that is you have to communicate your grades. So students, at the quarter when we determine eligibility, you have to provide us the information. We can't find it, and if we don't have something recorded for you for a grade for a College Credit Plus class that's taken on campus, you will not be eligible for sports. So you need to be really aware of that as you move through the process. I know nobody will get into this, but should you happen to fail a course, you don't attend a course, you drop a course, through the CCP, you're liable for that tuition. So failing grades, dropping a course, just not showing up, you're going to have to pay for that class. So we'll pay the bill as long as you're successful with where you're going. And remember, a failing grade will stay on your college transcript forever. So some of the things, talking about finances that are not covered by the College Credit Plus program, transportation. You're not going to take a bus down to campus. If you're taking courses on campus, whatever that campus might be, you're responsible for your transportation as well as your parking permits and any parking tickets. You have to pay those. We're not going to do that. So again, non-attendance, failure, withdrawal, we need to take care of all those things. If you're a senior and you're looking to graduate, you fail a CCP course, you have to make sure that's paid for before walking in graduation. So we have courses here on campus. There are a little bit more protections with that because there still are teachers. And so parents were able to talk to you that way. Grades will still be posted through Schoology. Our world history class, world civilizations class, history 1510. The Spanish 4 classes, French 4 classes, college physics, that's a course that will be offered here. Teaching professions has several different courses that fall under that. That's a College Credit Plus class, but that's again offered here on campus by our teacher, as well as the DECA and marketing classes that are offered through Owens on our campus. Those are all part of that process. So, what do you need to do? How do you get to take a College Credit Plus class? One, view this video or attend the meeting live. That's step one. You've accomplished that. The other one is completing and returning the CCP intent forms. My recommendation is do it immediately. It does not obligate you to anything. You don't have to take the course if you sign the form. All it means is you intend to do it, doesn't mean you have to do it. But without that form in place, you will not be allowed to register for that class, whether it's on campus here or off campus at BGSU, UT, Owens, whatever. Once that's in, you need to apply to the college. We won't do that for you. We'll send you a transcript, but once you decide to make this choice, even if it's a class at the high school, you have to apply to BGSU or Owens, depending on which courses it is. That's part of the process that they have to accept you into the university. Once you're accepted, you'll take the appropriate placement tests, AccuPlacer, or complete other requirements. ACT, SAT scores might suffice. It all depends on the courses you're taking. But the AccuPlacer becomes the next part of that. You'll have to meet with a college advisor. That's not an option. So you'll meet with a college advisor, you'll schedule your classes at the college. And then you'll meet with the high school counselor to adjust your high school schedule if you're splitting your time between both places so that we can make sure you have enough courses, you're on track for graduation, and that your time is appropriate to get back and forth as needed. So this is step one. You've got the CCP information meeting. If you're watching this video, you didn't go to the meeting, you're still good. Step two, complete and return the letter of intent. Get that in. It has to be into the office, our high school office, by April 1st. If it's not in by then, you're out of luck. You can't take the CCP classes, whether they're on our campus or anywhere else. So the easiest thing is complete it now, turn it in, get it over with. We have you in our books. Then the next, apply to a college, whatever the CCP program is. And typically most universities will have a tab that is CCP specific. So look for that on their websites and that'll guide you through their application process very easily for that particular university. You have to be determined eligible for College Credit Plus coursework, and you're responsible for that application. We're not going to hold your hand through it. You need to make sure it gets taken care of. You meet with the college advisor before you come and see your high school counselor. So you'll register for the classes with your college advisor. Remember, you cannot take developmental classes, you cannot take remedial classes, no religious classes, and the PE requirement is not acceptable as well. You can't take a phys ed class and have it count for your graduation requirement at a university. Another important thing for some members of our student body, if a student is on a 504 or an IEP, you need to meet with the college's Office of Accessibility or Disability Services, the different terms depending on the school, and then the university has to approve any accommodations. While you may have an IEP or a 504 that we've approved here at the school, if you're taking a CCP class, even on our campus, the university has to approve the accommodations that are written into the IEP or 504 before we can follow those. So make sure you meet with them early on in the process. And then the last step is to meet with the high school counselor. You'll work with your counselor to adjust your schedule, make sure you have the requirements. Again, make sure you're on track for graduation. Make sure the academic core courses at the college will be weighted as an AP grade if that's where it belongs. And the students will make sure that the students are enrolled in 5 one-credit high school courses per semester, which is an ORC requirement. And the counselors can help you interpret what that looks like. So part of that process is a college semester hour of a class of 1 credit will only be 1/3 of a high school credit. Any college class that's a 3 to a 5 credit will wait 1 year of a high school credit, so 1 high school credit. So counselors can help walk you through that process. So you can enroll up to 30 semester hours or its equivalent over the course of a year. So total of 120 total semester hours in the course of 4 years. Most students don't get near that. And frankly, a lot of them, unless you're going full-time CCP, don't hit the 30 a year. But that's something you need to look at. You may enroll in more than 1 college or university. So just because we have classes here that are offered through, say, BGSU, you could also take classes through Owens or the University of Toledo if you desired. So you can take a look at the different courses you want to take, see where they're offered, and see what fits best with your schedule. There are a couple of pathways that are available on the high school website, and just as a note, those are a requirement of state law, not a recommended course of study at all. They're just something that we have to go through to show that a student could split their time and get to a certain point within their course of work, but it's not a recommendation. It's just something that's there. Once you schedule your college courses, be sure to make an appointment and meet with your high school counselor. CCP classes on a college campus or via online are available beginning in summer of this year. Now, the trick is that begins your fall semester. So those courses count toward that 30 semester hours per year. So be careful when you begin to schedule that. The other thing is a lot of colleges will begin their classes in May. We're still in session and you still have obligations here as well. So you have to make sure that if you're taking a summer class of when it begins and that it's not going to be in conflict with courses that you've already begun here on the high school campus. So books, we take care of the books. You'll see Mrs. Nagy before the semester begins. She houses books here. You do not go to the bookstore and purchase books. For one thing, BGSU doesn't even have a bookstore anymore. You'll come in here, you'll see, do we have the appropriate textbook? We'll get you the books that you need when you need them. Make sure we have them all here, and then you'll be able to move forward. If we don't have the book here, we'll order it. We'll get it to you as soon as we possibly can, typically within 2 or 3 days. Full-time CCP students, again, you're required to return your laptop, and that's outlined in the laptop service agreement you signed early on in the process. You've got support services. You've got the college folks that are there for you. You've got your high school counselors who are here for you. One of the things you need to look at is what's appropriate to ask the college, what's appropriate to ask Perrysburg High School counselors. And typically what it's coming down to is, what courses should I take at the college level? You can ask your college counselor, but make sure the high school counselor is involved in the process as well, so to make sure you're following what you need to follow in terms of graduation requirements. So, as we go through this, you want to make sure that your applications are in. Visit the area college websites, look specifically for the CCP tabs. Make sure you get in there, get your application squared away, but you can't do that before you begin the process of the letter of intent. We have to have that before you begin. The biggest key to this whole process is communication. Students, you're going to have to communicate with your parents, with the high school, and with the university. Without that, this doesn't work well. What we find problems with is when students don't ask the questions or don't involve parents or the high school in their decision-making process. That can be very problematic. So again, parents, you're out of that loop. You have to rely on the students to communicate for you and with you on that. And it doesn't matter if the student is 16, 15, 18, they're in charge of that communication process in a College Credit Plus program. So we've got a couple of important dates coming up. You need to make sure that you're aware of those. We want you to get involved. The biggest date to remember is April 1st is our CCP letter of intent deadline. They have to be in. Again, my recommendation is do it now, do it early, because there's no harm in doing it. If we have the letter, great. If you decide you don't want to do it, no big deal. We just put the letter aside in a different file. You're all set. You have to go through these, this particular orientation program every year, whether it's live or the video. You have to do this each year a student takes a CCP class. If you have questions, we really encourage you to contact your counselor, make sure that they're involved. Any one of them can answer questions specific to the College Credit Plus process, as well as your particular student. Here's the thing I want to leave you with. College Credit Plus is not for everybody. A lot of people say, wow, I can earn college credit and it's cheap. I don't have to pay anything, just transportation and a parking permit. And that's true. But are you ready for it? Are you self-disciplined enough for it? Will you communicate effectively? That's a big problem. Are you ready for it socially? That's also an issue. What I always tell people is this: the best preparation for college is not necessarily college. If you want a great education, certainly our partner universities provide that, but make sure you're ready. In my opinion, the great education happens here at Perrysburg High School, and then when you leave here, you're ready for anything. Without the structure we have here, without the supports we have in place, you could be left to fend for yourself with potentially lifelong consequences. So we want to make sure you're making the right decision. We want to make sure that what you do for your future is the right thing for your future. Parents, talk to your students about this. It's not a small thing. We have kids who begin this program and they are not ready for it, and they're behind the 8 ball after the fact. Another thing that people often ask is, well, isn't taking a college class, doesn't that look better to a university than taking the classes at a high school? The short answer to that is no. If you're looking to go to a selective school, the best route is taking the most challenging courses available, and that's not necessarily a college level course. Oftentimes, it's our college-bound courses or our AP courses that are better preparation, significantly better preparation for a selective school, and they look at that very closely. So I would encourage you to go in with your eyes open, asking questions. We're available for those. Please reach out, ask the questions, get them answered, use the resources we have available here at Perrysburg High School. Thanks for watching the video. We hope you've learned something from it. If you have any questions, again, reach out to your school counselor. They're there to help. Thank you.